What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Apex Legends tier list. It's going to be for the Season 16, the weapons for the entire season. Now, keep in mind, depending on the season as well, we might be getting some balance changes like halfway through the season because they said they are going to be making some balance changes. So, depending when you're seeing this, stuff might be a little bit different. But we did get a new weapon this season, the Nemesis assault rifle, which is really cool. The first energy AR as well, which is really nice. So, going to be talking about that. We also got a bunch of other weapon changes. We got some new care package weapons and some other stuff going in and out of the crafter and that type of thing. So, it's going to be kind of just your average tier list. Like, for your average player, like, there's some weapons that you can argue that are insanely good and can be really good, but like you have to have like perfect accuracy and perfect aim and that type of thing. And it's mainly for like the players that are just incredibly good at the game. It's gonna be mainly like a list that's just for your like average players. So apart from that, let's hop right into this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, 100% opinionated. So if you guys do not agree with me on something, or if I forget to mention something or talk about something, let me know in the comments down below. But let's kick this off. Starting in F tier, we got the L-Star. This weapon sucks. Garbage weapon. Probably the worst energy weapon in the game. If you want a weapon that'll just, apart from off drop, like you get this weapon and you swap it out for pretty much everything else, unless you're just like off the drop ship and you land onto the ground and it's the only thing you have to pick up. It's garbage. Worst weapon in the entire game. Don't pick it up at all. It will get you killed and you will lose because of it. Ask me how I know. I've lost because of it so many times when I have an opportunity to play a different energy weapon, and for some reason I kept the L-Star and it got me killed or made me lose the game. Up next we got the D tier, which is going to be the Spitfire, the Rampage, the Devotion, the Havoc, and the Triple Take. The main problem with all these energy weapons, I'm going to kind of lump them into the same category, is that they're just outshadowed by the Nemesis AR. The Nemesis AR right now is probably legit one of the best weapons in the game. It's even on the level of some of the care package weapons. It really is, with how broken it is right now. And if you're going to be running an energy weapon, you're going to be running the Nemesis. There's no reason to run like the Devotion or the Havoc or even the Triple Take. The Triple Take's kind of just there to hold like an extended energy mag and that type of stuff and a bunch of attachments for the Nemesis until you find one of those. The Rampage is a shell of its former self. It was really good in the care package and then it got put back to ground loot. Unless you're Rampart or like somebody else that takes really good advantage of the LMGs, you're not going to be playing the Spitfire or the Rampage at all. Even with a thermite grenade, they're not good. Next, we got C tier. We got the Alternator and the Longbow. The Longbow, the only reason I have it in C tier is because it's actually in the crafter for this season. You're not going to be wanting to craft this thing at all, especially if you can just pick up something else like a Sentinel or a Charge Rifle over a lot of like the Longbow and some other stuff. Even some of the marksman weapons are a lot more consistent and a lot easier to find than having to spend time to craft this thing. Then we got the Alternator. The problem with the Alternator right now is shotguns are way too good, and there's a lot of other options, at least for like SMGs. Its damage isn't good enough, and its range really isn't good enough to justify it. Its fire rate's a little bit too slow. It's really easy to use, and if you really want to use it, you can do pretty good with it, but it's just, there's just way more options that you can pick over this thing right now, and that's the real problem. Up next, we got B tier, your stuff that's kind of below average or just kind of overshadowed by some of the other weapons in the game, with the Car and the Volt SMG. The reason why I have the Volt in B tier is because it's in the crafter, similar to the Longbow. You're not going to be crafting this thing at all over like any of the other SMGs in the game right now. If it was on the ground loot, it's still pretty good. Like, it's still a good weapon, but like being in the crafter, it's what's holding it back. And then the Car also got nerfed. They nerfed the mag size on every single mag by 1 bullet, so you got to be even more accurate and try to one-clip somebody now, and if you're not really good with it, and you can't really control the recoil on the weapon, if you can't one-clip somebody, you're usually dead if you use the Car, so still a good weapon. It can be good, but you got to be incredibly good with the weapon to make it work, and there's a lot easier to use SMGs and stuff in the game right now that kind of does its job similarly. Next, you got A tier, which is your average weapons with the P2020 and the Mozambique. Keep in mind, both of these are with hammer points. These are not the base weapons. But with hammer points, the Mozambique and the P2020 are actually really good. You're doing about 80 damage, really fast firing, like 80 damage, with like a gold shotgun bolt, or like even like a purple shotgun bolt with the Mozambique on targets that have no shield with hammer points. It's incredibly good. Same with the P2020. People are sleeping and shitting all over the P2020, but I think it's actually a really solid weapon. It really is. It does a shit ton of damage with the hammer points. Really, and you can swap to it really quick. Pretty damn good. And it really fast reload. Has really solid stuff all around. Next, you got A+ tier. There's gonna be your above average weapons that are above average. Not really the best stuff in the game, but like not bad at all by any means. With the R99, the Prowler SMG, the 3030 repeater, the G7, the Sentinel, and the Wingman. Let's talk about both of the marksmen first. These are both kind of just in the same category just because they kind of do the similar thing. There's not really anything that's really different between both of them. It's just kind of personal preference. 3030 is great. The G7 is still great, especially with double tap. It's still really good. The Sentinel is great just because they changed it recently to where you can actually charge it with only one shield cell. So it's pretty much a mini Kraber if you can find a Kraber. If you can land a headshot, you're doing like 130 something damage. And if you're landing body shots, I think with a fully charged shot, you're doing about 88 damage or something crazy. So it's actually really solid. It's actually one of my favorite snipers in the game, actually. I've actually been running even the Sentinel over the charge rifle a lot more, just because I like how it plays a lot more recently. Wingman, I'm going to put A+ tier. It kind of comes down to what player you are. If you're somebody that can only land like a couple shots per clip, or if you can land all headshots and land an entire clip on somebody, it can be higher in this list. But as just like average player, I'm putting it at A+ tier. It can be really good, especially with Skull Piercer, which is really nice. Then you got the R99 and the Prowler, two incredibly good SMGs. The R99 got buffed. Its damage got buffed by 1 per bullet this patch. And it actually is able to one-clip people now. Before, it would always, if you missed like 1 or 2 bullets, you would never be able to like one-clip somebody. You'd have to land like your entire clip on somebody. Now, if you miss like 1 or 2 shots and like 1 or 2 bullets, you can still one-clip somebody really easily. Really, really solid weapon. I actually really like the R99. It's really consistent and really fun to use right now. Same with the Prowler. Prowler does the same thing. Didn't really get any changes, but still really good. Up next, we got S tier. These are the best of the best weapons in the game that are not care package weapons. Or at least one of them is a care package weapon. Spoiler, but they're like the best of the weapons in the game that you're going to want to be finding and running on most of your games and on your teams. We got the Mastiff, the Peacekeeper, the R301, the Charge Rifle, the EVA 8, the Flatline, and the Hemlock Burst AR. Let's talk about them. The Mastiff is crazy. Like the Mastiff and the Peacekeeper, they're both kind of similar. Like I'm putting them in the same category. Even like with the EVA 8, it just kind of comes down to like personal preference. But Shotgun's got a huge bunch of buffs for Season 16. They're able to carry stocks now, and they got the purple the gold shotgun bolt, which is pretty much a beefed up version of Kinetic Feeder, but just in a shotgun bolt form, which is crazy. They also got their spread. I think it was like tightened. I think they got their spread tightened, and like the damage is in like a smaller area, so you're able to do more damage a lot more consistently with these weapons. Shotguns are really good right now. Spoiler. Really, really good. So if you guys are like playing shotguns, they're all really, really good. Even the Mozambique's incredibly good. R301 got a bit of a damage nerf. Same with the Flatline. They got a bit of a... Not really... The Flatline never got a damage nerf, but the R301 I think got 1 damage nerf by 1 point per bullet, I think it did. And then they made it so it's a lot harder to actually like ADS with our assault rifles. But these weapons are still incredibly good. The Flatline does really good damage, and the R301 is one of the easiest to use weapons in the game, and that's why it's consistently going to be really, really good. The Charge Rifle, same thing. The most easy-to-use sniper in the game is just able to farm damage. Nothing with it changed at all. And then I have the Hemlock on here. I think the Hemlock right now, at least for a care package weapon, is probably the worst care package weapon we have. I'm actually seeing myself actually picking up the Nemesis AR, and then I'll get to a care package, and I see a Hemlock, and I'm actually keeping the Nemesis over the Hemlock. I think this is one of the things where the Nemesis AR right now is just so good to the point where I think it's kind of holding back one of the care package weapons that's really similar to it. And I think until the Nemesis gets nerfed, I think that like the the Hemlock's going to kind of be held back as a care package weapon because you're not going to want to pick it up over like if you already have a nemesis. Mainly in that sense. Granted, if you have like an R301 or like a flatline, you'll still pick it up most of the time. Unless you have them like fully kitted already, then it's kind of debatable, but it's mainly just because the Nemesis AR is just incredibly good right now. It's the one of the most busted weapons in the game. It's even on the level of a care package weapon, spoiler, for this next tier and last tier of the list, so... But I think that's the only thing that's really holding it back. Otherwise, it's still incredibly good. If you can land headshots, its headshots multiplier is actually really solid. If you're great at landing headshots with the weapon, it can still be a lot better than the Nemesis, but overall, like, they're really similar. I think the Nemesis is actually just being out right now as a care package weapon. That's the only thing that's kind of holding it back. Until the Nemesis gets nerfed, the Hemlock is kind of like a sleeper pick, or not really being picked as much in the care package over the Nemesis if you already have that. Then we got SS tier, which is the care package weapons, or the weapons that you're going to be wanting to pick up if you see them automatically and drop whatever you have to pick them up. We got the Nemesis Burst AR, which I don't have a picture of, but it's in. Just keep in mind it's in this tier. I don't have a picture of it yet because they haven't actually updated the tier list on the website, but I might add a picture in the video. I'm not sure, or just keep in mind it's in this SS tier. The RE45, the Bolcheck, and the Kraber. Kraber is still self-explanatory. It's always going to be one of the best weapons in the game, especially if you're able to one-tap most people with 210 headshot. It's crazy. Bolcheck, I wish they would put it back on the ground loot because I miss playing it on the ground loot, but it's incredibly good weapon in the care package. Same with the RE45. Nothing with them's really changed at all. And then you got the Nemesis in this tier. The Nemesis right now is the most busted, overpowered weapon in the entire game. They said they wanted to ship this weapon hot when it was actually put into the game as a new weapon to reduce play of the R301 and the flatline. And man, is it reducing play of the R301 or flatline, because every time everybody's running a Nemesis. I don't think there's anybody that, like, you see late game, like, unless they're unable to find one for some reason. Like, if you can find a Nemesis, whatever you have that you're in your current loadout, you drop something and you're going to be picking up a Nemesis. Even with no attachment, it's just so incredibly good. The damage is crazy. The ability to, like, ramp up the burst so it's faster firing as long as you're firing and hitting some consistent shots. It's absolutely crazy how fast you can melt somebody. It really is. It just has everything you want. It's great at even, like, close range. It's pretty damn good. Medium range is great. You have pretty solid long range poke with it as well if you throw on like a 2 or like a marksman optic onto it. It is probably the best weapon in the game. That is not a care package weapon. It's so good, like I said, it's so good it's actually holding back one of the care package weapons, being the Hemlock, which is actually in the care package for the Season 16 now. Until this weapon gets nerfed, the Hemlock won't be as good and won't be picked up even out of the care package with how good this weapon is. It's just too good. Everybody's playing it. And like, if you see it on the ground, whatever loadout you have, you drop something, you automatically pick up the Nemesis. I don't think there's any game. The majority of the wins I got this season so far as well, the majority of the wins I've had are wins and games that I've had a Nemesis in my loadout and I'm using the Nemesis AR. That just goes to show you how good it is. It really is. If you guys aren't playing the Nemesis, if you haven't played the Nemesis, or you haven't been picking it up off the ground for whatever reason, you're honestly just putting yourself at such a huge disadvantage. Overall, that is the tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you guys like these videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. I got a bunch of other Apex stuff on the way. We got Paladin Season 6 this next week on the way as well. So I got a bunch of Paladin stuff on the way I'm going to start working on probably this weekend, actually. I'm going to start kind of preparing for that as well. So you guys don't want to miss out on that type of stuff. Subscribe. We also got Splatoon Season 3 on the way here in about 2 weeks. I think it's March 3rd is confirmed when it's supposed to be going live. We're getting a bunch of teasers and like information drops about the next season. So I'll probably be doing a video and stuff talking about that here in the next couple of days as well. So if you guys don't want to miss that, stay tuned to the channel. But apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for stopping by and thanks for watching.